Hello, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. I couldn't really bring Rhett in this morning because my son is bringing his dogs. And when they first come in, here in a few minutes, and when they first come in, you'll probably hear them. It, the place just all hell breaks loose in this house, and I always worry about Rhett a little bit in that situation. But I figured I'd get rolling a little bit earlier than I'd normally do. Like I usually have everything up and running before I get started. Um, and then open. Um, and one of the side effects of doing these videos for me has been like the opportunity to do everything just in super slow motion, and then it gives me a whole sort of night to sort of think about things. And kind of what happens like at my job and other situations is that like I get a bunch of stuff done, and then maybe I don't really think about why I do things when because I do a lot of things, right? So there's just like one thing after another coming up, and it's just like why am I worried about that? Why do I care? And I've come to the conclusion that this keyboard thing sounds like the dogs are here. Um, this keyboard thing is one of those really interesting phenomena in software development, at least in web development, where like when you when you when you first start on a project, nobody cares about the keyboard at all. But fixing something in the keyboard is pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. It's almost always very simple to fix something in the keyboard. But you, but you don't. But no one cares, right? Like it's like there's very little. Like everyone's like, "Why are you even doing that?" And then at some point, it just matters. It doesn't matter. Like I hear young people say, "Oh, like that doesn't matter until it matters." Um, and it doesn't matter at all, and then suddenly it starts mattering, and then once it starts to matter, it's like too late. And um, and because a lot of times it's very very difficult, but so like when it doesn't matter it's simple, and then when it does matter it's very very difficult. It's a really strange kind of thing in life. But I think I noticed something yesterday once I had some kind of time to think through things. I think when you add, and then if you hit the escape button, yeah, and then if you tab, oh, I should be in the other view. I'm gonna hit shift and tab to go back over here, and I'm hit enter. So I don't know if you can do shift and tab in Cypress. So that's the other thing that you kind of need to keep in mind is that Cypress isn't exactly like, it's very very close, very very, it's beautiful. I know this, I'm not saying I think Cypress is awesome, but one thing is like it's not actually identical to interacting as a human. There are some slight things that just are different. But one thing I thought I noticed when we were doing Cypress the other day is that if you tab this and then you tab this, see, I don't think that it's working that way in the code, because here I think we had to do 4 tabs. Um, so, what I was curious about is if we were um, like if I, so what I thought was happening was like this took 2 tabs, like it would tab and it would focus on the outer div and then focus on the inner div, which seems like that's what's happening in Cypress, but that's not happening in real life. So I'm just gonna kind of go back through, because I feel like in real life it shouldn't be 3 tabs. It shouldn't be 4 tabs. It should only be 3 tabs, or in um, if it was emulating real life, but it's not. So let's go back over here. Okay. maybe I'm too far down. Okay, so one thing I like to do is sort of adjust this so that you can see the whole screen. Okay. All right, let's take another step back. And so we're going to do that. Okay. So we tab twice. I don't know exactly where we're at. If I hit Alt Tab and go back here, I wonder if I can now. Yeah, so I don't know what happened there. All right. It's kind of hard. See, where all of this is highlighted, I think, yeah, I don't know where the focus is. Okay. Again, I don't know exactly what happened. Go to tabular layout by clicking on the icon. Oh, okay. So, okay, so when we escape, oh, okay, and then I actually put the focus on the more options button. And then I get the viz list. Okay, so I think, okay, so this is acting different, right? This isn't quite right. In the actual world, what happens is, the actual user, I'm just gonna say user experience, is that the more options button automatically gets focus. So basically this isn't the actual user experience, right? So like if I go like this and I tap cop, and so like I'm saying, hey, I'm going to hit escape. And then I don't think, like if I hit Alt Tab, I need to move the mouse whenever I do that. See, it doesn't look, it looks like this whole thing is focused, right? We aren't getting the focus where we want it. Or maybe we just can't see it. I don't know. There's just some behavior that's different. And it could just be that it's in this frame or something like that. But so in order to emulate what the actual user see, escaping might actually like get us, since this isn't the only thing, like when we're dealing with the browser, it's the only thing that's really involved. But in this situation, the whole screen is, so maybe that's why that isn't working quite the same. And again, you may be like wondering, like, why do you even care? And the thing is that I care because it's gonna matter. It doesn't matter now, and it's gonna matter. And if I wait until it matters, it's gonna be almost impossible to actually get this stuff to work. All right, so now I get the viz list, and then I just want to make sure that there's 3 of them because I hit that button 3 times. I hit the add viz 3 times. So then, oddly enough, I don't know what we're focused on at this point, but if I hit the tab 4 times at this point, apparently it will get me to that icon over there. So I'm going to move my mouse off of here so it doesn't sort of mess with anything. And oh, okay, so that is right. So if I hit 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in real life, if I hit 4 times over here, I'll get, it leaves and goes to the outer application, which is, that doesn't actually exist in all of that. But so it starts moving through here. So that is why, I guess that's why things are a little weird. And So now if I hit tab once, I don't know what, let's see what happens. I think, okay, so if we hit once, that first, this guy over here gets highlighted. Now when we move the mouse around, it like seems to have screwed things up. But, and then I hit tab and it just put me straight to the top. So who knows? See, so it's just like being difficult. And I would imagine for very good reason. So I'm going to kind of go back to where we were at. Nope, nope, nope. I'm going to go back to where we were at. So the good news is we can go to this clicked button. So now at this point, I'm wondering if we should be, I don't know what we'd want it to do right now. Actually, I guess this is really up in there. We don't really know what, from a keyboard perspective at this point, I would imagine it would go into the editor. So I guess we're as far as we can go on this. And I really honestly didn't expect that to be the case. But it is 8:30, so I can move on to the next task, which is I want to create like a new set of tests, and the tests are going to be like 200s, and all the 200s are going to be about properties. So it'll be like 2000, and that's, since the very first one we're working on is aspect ratio, it's going to be about aspect ratio. What I'm hoping to do, I don't know if this is possible, but I'm hoping to actually calculate the aspect ratio and then compare it to this and just leave it at that. And the biggest reason I'm doing that is because I want to be able to, I don't think I'll remember what aspect ratio does in the future. So this is sort of a way for me to sort of codify what aspect ratio does. And that is, it takes the width of the div and the height of the div, and it calculates it that way. Now in the future, I think, like I've been thinking out to myself, and I think I'm going to want like a way to be able to say, show me this as configured, or show me it like this where I can see everything with 100%. So I think that is coming. And then another thing that I probably want, that I just literally thought of now, and maybe I've thought of it in the past, I don't know, but like as a way to zoom. So because ThreeJS does have a zoom feature, so it would be kind of cool to be able to zoom and tie into that, which, that's like interesting, because that zoom will only be in effect while we're in edit mode. And then if we leave edit mode, that zoom shouldn't be in effect, so we'll have to manage that. So that's going to be fairly complicated. But let's see. Let's go ahead and add a new test. And I believe we do. Why do we do it here? It's weird. To me, it's the easiest way to do it, I think, is by using this tool. But yeah, this is weird. So I mean, it is kind of weird that you would do it from the runner, but it works. So we want to create a new spec, and we want it to be 200 AR. Dot. There we go. So it was upset that I had gotten rid of the dot on accident. All right. So this is going to be our aspect ratio test. I think all UI-based tests that are about aspect ratio, this is just going to be like the expert of aspect ratio. So when you run this spec, it automatically goes to their website, which probably helps them out in some way. So that's good. Give them a little bit of a like a boost. I mean, this is an incredible piece of software that I didn't have to pay 1 cent for. Um, so, I think anything I can do, especially if it's just let that go to their website so they can get a hit and they can say, look, this is how many people are using our tool. All right, so I know that whatever this home does, we definitely want to um, do that. So we're going to visit this. Okay, so our first thing is should ensure the correct aspect ratio. I don't know if that's a good one, but I guess aspect ratio tests. I guess spec is the word spec, I believe, is short for specification, which I think is in this context a synonym for tests. Specification typically means house is a requirement. This is what it's required to do. But I think in this case, it's more of a test. It is, I guess, like if you kind of think through a couple layers of abstraction, I guess a test and a specification are kind of the same thing. Checks the aspect ratio of single of a single visualization. Let's put the slash. I think did I put it in my see what I visit. I swear I enjoy doing this at my job so much more because I put the dot and it actually helps me. All right, so we want to add a single viz, which I think this guy does. So I think this like should be visible. I think it's sort of a side effect of checking that it's visible is telling it to wait until it's visible, which is way better than making your own wait, because making your own wait just eventually will just add so much time to your tests that they don't really become feasible to run anymore for developers. Really, even with the number we have, it might be a pain. So I don't think it clicked. Okay, did I not? Maybe I didn't go. Oh, app menu. So we want to get a reference to the app menu first. And as this thing is starting to scale out, I'm starting to wonder, like, maybe I should have a function that just says get app menu instead of having to recode it every time, or click the app menu. Okay. So now we have that. So I want to see what the width of app is. So I think I can do this, and I'm just trying to do this from memory, just mostly for brain exercise, right? It's kind of like jogging or doing like jump calisthenics or something. You want to be as good. You want to be able to exercise your brain as much as you can. Okay, so that worked. So I don't know how I get the width of it. And see, I think at work I probably would be able to figure that out because I have like like these menus that pop up when I do that for the right thing, but because like I played around with it for a long time trying to get this right, but if I can get it to where my ID recognizes Cypress, it won't recognize my unit tests code, and my unit test code is a little bit more difficult for me. So I'd rather do this. So I'm going to do ChatGPT, have this Cypress E2E code, and I would like to get the dimensions, the height and width of app viz DOM element. It's kind of weird. I use this word grab all the time, and then anytime I hear anybody use it, it bugs me. It's so strange. Okay, so it looks like you need to do this then thing. And I think this then thing is kind of when you want to use jQuery, which I'm a big fan of jQuery. I know a lot of people hate it, but so okay, so that's with jQuery, and then apparently you can just do that with regular JS. But either way, you have to use this then to do it. So let's do this, because I think I'd rather use regular JS. jQuery is like kind of like a utility sort of program library that really served a huge purpose back in the 90s. Like, you honestly couldn't build a good software element with just vanilla JS, and the main reason was because every browser had their own implementation of JavaScript. So jQuery is the one that sort of evened that out, made them all. And then so like, because a lot of times what would happen is like you'd wake up and your website would be broken, and then you do a search, you'd go to the jQuery website and you'd say, oh, okay, yeah, this changed in this version of the browser, and if you download the latest jQuery, it takes care of that. And that was literally like a daily routine, is go in, find out which browser was broken today, and get the latest version of jQuery, upload it, and that was like a big deal. Okay, so the width and height is 200. So now I want to know. Okay, so there's no way to know what the aspect ratio is in this scenario. I guess that's why it needed to go to edit for that. So before I can do that, I need to see, I have nothing to read to determine the aspect ratio, because this is UI only, and sure, I could do something, but that is actually available in edit mode. So what I could do is, I guess I can escape out of this so that this closes. So before we do this, we're going to escape, which is something that I do, I believe, in keyboard. So let's go copy that. And then I'm not trying to, I don't care about the keyboard in this context. So Control V. So this should close, basically run all that and close the, okay. And then we're still going to want this in the end, but for now, we're going to do this other thing. And now I want to get the, and I believe in the keyboard I also do get. So it's not more, it's viz add button. I'm trying to, so app menu is, I believe it's That is app menu, and I don't want app menu. I want this guy. So let's go to edit. I know, or update. I know I do it in there. So yeah, toggle and click. Okay. So we want to open the layout menu. So now what I believe it will happen is it will actually go into the tab, into the edit. Okay, so now this, I don't care, right? So like, yes, I could tab twice or whatever and get over there, but I don't care about that in this thing. I just want to get this. Let's see. I want to get this button. I'm pretty sure I gave it a name, a special name. Yep, update button. Okay, so I think I just want to do this, literally this exact same thing, but with the edit. I think that comment was very helpful, so I'm going to add a similar comment. Click the update button. And app is, and I'll tell you, and it's for, like, I'm having a great time. Like, this is really fun to do. Just, I cannot fathom why this is, well, I guess I do fathom why this is not popular, or it is popular, but why it's not like just the rage is because you have to know how to code in JavaScript to be able to do this, and there's already a shortage of people who can actually code in JavaScript. It's not a shortage of people who would like to apply for a job as JavaScript developers, but there's a huge shortage of people who can actually code in JavaScript. Okay, so now we're in the edit mode. And we have our app viz, and see the width is 1000, the height is 330. Okay, so what we want to do now is come in here, we click this. Now, does this have do any of these have, so I would love to have a span around here that has something so that I can latch on to this and get the actual value from in there. So we are going to do that. And so my goal, so what I wanted to do, okay, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, because I do it the other way over and over and over again, but I still need to maintain those other skills, the detective skills. So it's super simple to find something by going like this, going into search, and going to that. Now, and then I found it. Now, when I've done this, I don't have any idea about infrastructure. I don't have any idea about architecture. So it is important to also, for me, probably 9 out of 10 times, I probably need to actually think, okay, this is in the this, which is in the that, and this is in the that, and then figure out where I need to make code changes. But every once in a while, I still need to sort of maintain my old skill set. I do typically look at this, though, as soon as I find it, to try to kind of get a bearing of where I'm at. So I want to do a span. And so this is actually our ThreeJS and this is more for me than for you, but this is a new thing for me. I haven't never done it this way, where I get the signal directly in the template, But I did find that doing it this way, as opposed to um, doing it with what am I trying to say? As opposed to doing it by creating like a variable in the TypeScript and then like showing it on the and interpolating it on the screen. Like this is uh, that that crazy value changed without something error that I just hate so much um, is that, and that's another perfect example, like keyboard, where it's like nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares, and then somebody cares, and it's like if you'd have fixed it when it first started presenting, it would be like on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 5 or 6 to fix. But if you wait until people start complaining about it, it's going to be a 10. It's going to be so hard to fix. Sometimes I can't even fix it. There have been times, no matter what I do, I cannot get it to get fixed. But anyways, we want our Cypress ID, and I don't remember exactly how to do it, so I'm just going to go to Viz Component HTML because I know I do it in there. So it's data underscore CY and then the name of the item. So, and this is our three aspect ratio. So this is the aspect ratio that 3 used for that. So we want to collect this value. Okay. Okay, so I have this code. So markup in my template. And I want Cypress to be able to determine the text inside of the span. Okay, so basically CY get and then should have text. Oh, okay, that works pretty good. I don't know why they used my label, and I don't know why it's, yeah, that's weird. Okay, but I do think that should have is probably what I want. Okay, so what, when we come over here, we're in there. So let me go to my Cypress code. I got like 3 minutes left. Okay, I feel like this needs to be in here. Okay, so let's see. CY dot, I don't know if this, okay, before we do that, let's do, go ahead. CY log, I never use CY log. So rect dot width divided by rect dot height. Okay, so 3.038, 3.0 or 33, yeah, so that's the same as this. Okay, and so now we want to, I think we do this, I don't know, CY dot, oh man, that cylinder geometry is really annoying. And we want data dash CY equals, and then double quotes, and I believe I called it 3 aspect dash ratio. And let's just make sure that works. Yeah, that's right. And then I think it said it was like should, and then have text. Is it like that? I don't remember. Oh, so we need single quotes under have text. I don't know. And I don't know if it does auto casting for us to, because one's a number, one's text. But we shall see. Okay. Finish should have text, but okay. So I think we want it to contain. Okay. Is there? Okay. Okay. So it's not an exact match. So have dot text is not working. Is there something like contains? Okay, so dot commands contains. Okay, so we want it to change this to contains. And we want to get rid of this. So we're saying it should contain that number in there. But it actually has a, oh, and it looks like it worked. And now we are checking against the aspect ratio that was actually put to ThreeJS. So we know that the actual aspect ratio matches the width and height of the viz container, which is exactly what we want. So it's 8:57. I have to start working 3 minutes. I guess we're done with end-to-end testing. So I guess all we need to do is clean this stuff up. We can do our commit, and then we can move forward with actually creating a component that goes in here and trying to actually start working on editing. But I did mention that I do want to add like another little thing what will let us show it instead of, so right now, like this is supposed to be 1 by 1, 200 by 200, so show it as 200 by 200 if we want, or show everything. I want to be able to toggle back and forth between those views. So basically it would look like this, but in the middle of this. So it'd just be like 200 by 200. So then if I made it 300 by 300, we would be able to see it on that. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.